So what I'm about to show you is a video of a Latino conservative completely misunderstanding the American Constitution, at least the bits that he is about to cite. The context of this is that this person seems to believe that undocumented immigrants living within the United States are not afforded any sort of protection under the United States Constitution. And this is a position that he is defending in an argument that he is having with Señor Barragan, where he is claiming that the opportunities and the rights afforded to Señor Barragan are done so unconstitutionally because Señor Barragan is an undocumented immigrant, such as myself. And he goes on to claim that Señor Barragan and other undocumented immigrants actually have no rights under the American Constitution. So let's go ahead and watch the clip. But first, let's watch this short clip that gives a bit of context because he allows Señor Barragan to state his point before he goes on to retort.
It only gives help for citizens. You're not a citizen. You're an illegal immigrant. And yes, under Webster Dictionary and Wikipedia.
He said Wikipedia. Primero, you're holding the Constitution right there. You should know that anybody within the United States borders is protected by the Constitution. Google is free. Here, have this excerpt from the ACLU.
So Señor Barragan's point is that anyone within the borders of the United States is under the jurisdiction of the American Constitution, and thus is subject to the rules and rights outlined within. Saul, the conservative Latino, disagrees that this applies to undocumented immigrants. Okay, let's hear why.
Article 1, Section 2, Paragraph 2. No person shall be a representative who shall not have attained to the age of 25 years and been 7 years as a citizen of the United States. Citizen, not even residence. That's number one. You're not granted constitutional rights. You're not even a citizen.
So Saul's retort is to read Article 1, Section 2 of the United States Constitution, which outlines who can and who cannot be a member of the House of Representatives. This only serves to prove that within the Constitution, it is outlined that only U.S. citizens, either naturalized or by birth, are allowed to hold this particular public office. But what it doesn't come close to proving is your claim that undocumented immigrants are not afforded any rights or protections under the American Constitution. You then go on to cite the 14th Amendment. Let's watch.
Now let's look at the 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment, plain and simple, all persons born or naturalized in the United States subject to jurisdiction, therefore are citizens of the United States.
So here's the part of the 14th Amendment that you cited. And as we can see, it merely outlines the conditions by which a person is to be considered a citizen of the United States, these being either through birth or through naturalization. What it doesn't say is that undocumented immigrants do not have rights under the United States Constitution. In fact, if we go on a little further, the amendment also states, "Nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the law." Notice that that section states any person, and not just citizens. Thus, we can determine that this in fact means that any person, regardless of citizenship or lawful status, is granted certain rights and protections within the United States under the United States Constitution. In fact, many parts of the U.S. Constitution use the terms people or persons instead of citizens. Those laws apply to everyone who is physically within the United States and not just U.S. citizens. In fact, that's not me who said that. That is according to Professor Cristina Rodriguez from Yale's School of Law in this article titled, "What Constitutional Rights Do Undocumented Immigrants Have?" where she states also that most provisions of the Constitution apply on the basis of personhood and jurisdiction in the United States. In fact, if you go to the Congress website, you can view an annotated version of the U.S. Constitution. Now here I'm looking at specifically Article 1, Section 8, Clause 18, Aliens in the United States. This is what we're looking at, of course, being the annotation, where it states that although initially constitutional protections were only granted to lawful aliens, the Supreme Court ultimately extended these protections to all aliens within the United States, including undocumented immigrants. You can see here that the court reasoned that aliens physically present in the United States, regardless of their legal status, are recognized as persons guaranteed due process of the law by the 5th and the 14th Amendment.
And I'll tell you this, if you can find me an article or section or amendment in the Constitution that says you are right, I will concede.
I await your concession.